All right.
All right.
Well, good evening to the brothers-in-law. And on this channel, we discuss police-involved incidents that occur around the country. Our analysis on the actions of those police officers to see if their actions are what a reasonable officer would do. We'll also look at the actions of the citizens to see if they have a CON, which stands for comply, answer questions, listen, and move on. What had turned out differently. Now, you may agree or disagree with us, but it is our hope by the end of the day that you get a better understanding of how these things unfold. So if you're new to our channel, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button for us. And just let you know a little bit about myself. Former Virginia State Trooper of 7 years and a retired Navy Chief Petty Officer, 21 years of service. Good evening.
Hey, I'm Mike Bradley. I'm a co-host of this show. How you guys doing? I appreciate you guys tuning in on us. Give a little time. I might get a little bit more people here, but we got a good one lined up for you. A little bit about myself. I'm a retired police officer for 26 years in Northern California. Also, 6-year Army veteran. Good to have you guys on. And hey, Stacy, I see you. We got a good show lined up. We're gonna talk about a incident, Corey, that this happened on. I think it was the 3rd of July. I think it was.
3rd. Yeah.
And this incident that I could see some areas that may be improved by this police response on the police side, but there's also some issues that we're going to talk about whether it's going to help or not. You know what I'm saying? Hot topic coming up. I just saw this incident down the pipeline not too long ago, so it's probably going to gain some traction. What you say, Corey?
No, it's definitely probably going to gain some traction. In fact, I was just reading a couple articles here, how they were supposed to be setting up protesters and things. But before we get into the video, like I said, we can go ahead and like, share, and subscribe button for us. And also, please head on over to up there over at the Brothas-in-law .myspread and get you a hot little t-shirt. Brothers-in-law show support for us. Nice products over there that you can get and show your support for the brothers-in-law. Like Mike's a good one lined up. You know, it's a heartbreaker. Any officer involved incident where a life is lost, it's heartbreaking. I mean, and nobody wins in these types of situations. But we'll look at it. We'll give our analysis on it. Like I said in my opening statement, agree or disagree with us, but at the end of it, you see how an officer's point of view, how this plays out, and did it have to go to what could have been done on both sides, the police side and side, to where nobody gets hurt, but then situation gets resolved. So that's what we'll look at. Utilize stands for comply, answer questions, listen, and move on. So go ahead and get the video set up here if you want to go ahead and set it up. Now, you already said it started a week and a half ago, July 3rd, correct?
Right. Yeah. This is an incident where I think it happened in Alabama. Was it?
New Rochelle, New York.
New Rochelle. That's right. New Rochelle. So this is an incident. It starts out where the police get a call from what sounds like the store personnel. They get a call for service from them saying that there's a gentleman inside their store and he's eating items off the display without paying for it, basically. He's eating a banana and some grapes or something to that effect, some kind of fruit to that effect, and was just walking the store eating it, and then he leaves the store. Well, excuse me, he leaves the store, and officers catch up to him right here, as you'll see where this video starts to pick up. Now it's said, Corey, in that the police department had history with this guy, and he had some kind of mental health issue, whether that was schizophrenia or something along those lines. But I don't know if these particular officers knew him or he just had calls for service or history dealing with the police department in that particular location. Nonetheless, he was doing something in the store, eating some fruit without paying for it. And these officers, this is the call for service, and these officers catch up to him. Now, my mindset, Corey, if I'm the officer going into this, okay, number one, you want to contact both the RP, and if you see the suspect, you want to definitely try to stop and detain the suspect. You know what I'm saying? Or see what's going on. So it sounds like there was one officer that did contact the reporting party who reported him as committing this crime, got the information from him. And then there's these officers are here. They actually contacted this gentleman right here that you see in the black t-shirt, who is the suspect. What's going through your mind, Corey, at this time, if you're the officer?
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Like you see, party, somebody's already spoken to the reporting party. As you see here, where we give just from a news broadcast, local news channel up there. So I kind of started halfway through trying to get they're talking so you can see the meat and potatoes of this incident. But you got two female officers that are coming up to him, why'd you do that? Why'd you, did you eat the food, whatever? And the guy not responding to them, but just kind of walking away from them, hands in his pocket. So, I mean, at that point, Mike, I think they should already put him in an administrative detention and go ahead and detain him, right? Purpose to find out what's going on.
Yeah, that would be my thought process, to detain him, especially if he walking away from you, right? I mean, he walking away. Well, I gotta stop you and detain you because you're the one that they're calling about that's saying that committed that crime. I don't know what's going on with you. I don't know if you have any mental health issues. It's definitely strange that you are just walking away from me, not even saying nothing. Right. Now I'm trying to formulate in my mind as the officer the best way that I can stop you, whether that's going to have to be physically or verbally, right? And figure out what's going on. But I need you to stop so that I can talk to you, get you, identify who you are, right?
Yeah.
And take it from there.
Yeah, I can't have you walk away while we're continuously walking down the street with the chance of you. So we need to stop because I need to get all that information. I need to get your side of the story and get what the reporting party is saying and put this together to find out what's the best way to handle this. Do you really need to go to jail for this, or got money on? Hey, just go ahead. Would you be fine with just going ahead and let him pay for the food? Now, the crazy thing is, Mike, you see this kind of stuff all the time, though.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
you in the store or eating the food that they're allegedly going to purchase. They got walk around the grocery store all the time eating their grapes, or grabbing a soda and opening a soda and start drinking the soda water, but they eventually things. Here, this gentleman allegedly going around the store eating the bananas and grapes and things, and then just walks out the store.
Right.
But another backside of the story is that he allegedly was up there to get to, again, I guess that evening, taking back down to North Carolina, I think, where he was from. So if you didn't have money, my question is, why is he doing this? Like, what's his mindset behind it? Which leads to a point, maybe he may have some mental. right? Doing these things and call like this in order for the cops to have to get involved in it. So this is a clip that they got going around social media now. Try to find some actual body cam footage, Mike, but I couldn't.
What you see on this news clip so far is the only body camera footage that you have. There's probably going to be some more that's going to come out, and we are giving our opinions on just the information that has come out at this time. John Adams, cops blast little kid plastic gun. He didn't drop it. I don't know what that comment is directed at. Is that another video? Mr. Adams,
it might be.
Oh, okay. This again, if you're late joining us to the show, we're talking about there's a gentleman in New Rochelle around the 3rd of July. He went into a store and he was eating some fruit, some bananas and some grapes or something, and wasn't trying to pay for it. So he gets the cops called on him. Cops respond to the scene. This is what you're about to see. It's them making initial contact with the suspect at this time.
All right, here we go, y'all. And again, this video, I already put the link so you can see it in its full entirety at your leisure. It's only 1 minute and 58 seconds, so just going to catch the high point of this where the actual start making contact with this individual.
Okay. Menacing, grabbing and eating food without paying.
Oh, come on, man. What are you doing in the store? You were eating the food?
A male officer arrives and tells the man he's under arrest. While being handcuffed, the man begins to struggle. The male cop tells his colleagues to tase the suspect.
Taser him.
The video ends before the actual shooting. Video stills show the suspect with his hand on a police officer's belt. A statement from New Rochelle says he, quote, grabbed an officer's gun in an attempt to remove it from the holster. Attorney Bartlett, who co-chaired Westchester's police reform.
So you can see it's relatively short.
Yeah.
There still is enough there. I mean, you can see his hands are on the officer's gun belt.
Yeah.
That's a huge no, Mike.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It definitely looks like his hand is grasping the handle of her gun.
Yeah.
Luckily he didn't get it out.
He didn't get it out. Now the question is that a use of force? Yeah. I'm not gonna let you. Once you made that move forward and you got hands on it, I'm sorry that you're going to get shot. I'm not going to allow you to have the opportunity to pull that weapon out and use it against the officer you took it from, or use it on another officer. I'm not going to give you that opportunity. I have to be faster at the draw than you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think a lot of citizens don't understand. If I'm struggling with you, and like you said, Corey, if you grab my firearm, I'm not going to let you pull my firearm out. But no. I'm not going to sit there and just continue to let you grab and pull on my firearm either. So what is the alternative? The alternative is, well, maybe I can draw my firearm and shoot you, because I'm not going to continue to let you forcibly try to grab my firearm from me.
Right.
And if I pull it out and shoot you, well, that'll stop you from grabbing my firearm. And I think some citizens, they look at it as, well, you could have just tried to break away and back off or something.
And let him run.
Yeah, let him run or something like that. But what if he doesn't? He's still trying to grab my firearm. You see what I'm saying? So the only way for me to stop him.
On top of that, too, Mike, that's not what we do. We just don't let you just retreat and run away. That's not what policing is. No, our job is to stop you from whatever offense you've committed or trying to go and reoffend. right? If they just let him go, and then what if he goes and an hour later? Well, shoot, all they gonna do is just let me go. They ain't gonna come after me. And then you go and you do it again, and it just becomes a reoccurring thing. You can't do that because now everybody on the block knows. Oh, all you gotta do is scuffle and take off running. They ain't gonna come after you, like they do. I believe in Chicago now. You can't do that. So that's not an option right there. That's not an option right there.
No, it's definitely not an option. It's not a natural option for an officer to say, if you're gonna fight me, I'm gonna just let you go and back away from you. But in this situation, though, Corey, they was already in the scuffle. They was already on the ground with him. And they're at that point, even if you wanted to back away, there's no backing away at that point. You are already on the ground with him wrestling.
Right.
Okay. Now either you gonna let him get your gun or you gonna manage to pull your gun out and shoot him. You see what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people can't grasp that part. Is you grab my gun, I'm gonna try to get my gun before you do, okay, and shoot you with it. Because I'm not going to let you grab my gun and then turn around and hope that you don't shoot me. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to take that chance.
Right. That's the whole point. Is you have to be faster than them. You see the intent. The intent is to grab the weapon. All right. Now, what do you plan on doing once you get your hands on that weapon? You know, and truth be told, those holsters that we used aren't the greatest holsters or the most secure holsters out there.
Yeah, they ain't 100%. That's for sure.
Right.
If you grab my gun, I'm not going to trust that my holster is going to hold my gun in there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Those aren't the best holsters, out there that money can buy, and those weapons are easy to get out. And so what I'm curious about, what I didn't see in the video is I heard the officer yell the taser, tase him, but you see the officer fumbling with the taser, but I don't see that the taser was deployed.
No, I don't. But that could be because he grabbed the other officer's gun before that could possibly happen. Once you grab the gun, right, that changes everything.
That changes everything. You grab the gun, I'm not using the taser.
Right. I ain't trying to tase you if you grabbing my gun.
Right. It's a simple. You got to transition to match that force or exceed that force. Right. It's just a sad situation that this had happened. Now, let's look at let's look at the officer's side right now. I'm starting officer side. Were there actions of what a reasonable officer would have done?
The female officers, I'll say that was reasonable. They tried to talk to him. That's part of de-escalation within itself. They tried to talk to him and say, hey, what's going on? They tried to engage him verbally and get his side of the story or find out what's going on with him, try to determine and make an evaluation if this person has a mental health problem or something like that. Now, you're not saying nothing to me. You are trying to walk away from me. Well, that certainly speeds up my evaluation of how to handle it because I got to stop you. You know what I'm saying? First of all, I can't just let you walk away. So is it reasonable for me to feel like I got to go hands-on to stop you? Well, yeah, if you keep walking away from me, I'm going to try to stop you and handcuff you and detain you. Okay? And then once I get you safely handcuffed and detained, then we can continue the investigation.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And first of all, you should never let them got out into the street. I think they should have went on ahead and detained them as soon as they made contact with them. And let them know, obviously, hey, this is the reason why you're being detained right now. You're not under arrest. You're just being detained till we figure out what's going on here, and not allow him to keep walking and get into the street. Now, I mean, what you don't know is, okay, now they didn't go hands-on to that third officer. The male officer comes into the scene, and then he goes and, hey, you're under arrest. I mean, he was already on 100. Now, we don't know what he knew. Did he get more information? You know, why did he come in so hot? You know, so I won't say he was overamped, but I mean, he was like, "Hey, you're under arrest. We're not playing around." Versus how the female officers were trying to handle it. You know, you can say he came in and really escalated everything, but I'm not sure he really escalated. I mean, he was just that, I'm not playing around, dude. You're under arrest.
I think that once they went hands on, it was going to be a fight anyway, regardless of whether or not, because those at some point, those females were going to stop him. I'd like to think they just delayed a little bit because they were trying to see what was going on, trying to talk to him, trying to gauge him. Like you said, that other male officer came in. Yeah, he seemed to be 100% at level 100. Now, my guess is based on my experience of handling these types of calls, it looks like he was probably the one that contacted the RP, right? Before contacting the suspect. He probably had enough information from the reporting party to determine that, yes, this crime did, in fact, was committed. And the person that I see these female officers trying to stop does match, is the suspect of who was doing this crime. So he already knew right out the gate that this guy needs to be at minimum in handcuffs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
At minimum. So that's why he comes directly and say, you're under arrest. So I think, is that reasonable? I can't say that's not reasonable. Yeah, he knew he had a task to do, and that was physically detain this guy who was walking away from the female officers. Now, the question, Corey, is this is what citizens would think. If this guy had a mental health problem, did the male officer escalate that situation more than necessary with someone who had a mental health problem?
I would say he didn't know he had a mental health problem.
If he did, would that have made a difference?
I don't think so, because at that point you probably want to get handcuffs on a lot faster, because you don't know their mental state.
Yeah, right. I agree. I don't think the fact
he could have became more. It didn't matter how. I don't think how you would approach that. He was not going to go in handcuffs.
Yeah,
just by how fast he booked in that situation when he said you're under arrest. I mean, you can see they had at least one handcuff on him, and he was like, "No, you're not getting me in handcuffs." And nor was he saying anything like he didn't do anything or what is going on. He didn't say anything. He was just resisting. He was just, and it didn't have to be that way. So I guess we can say that the officers acted as reasonable officers. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think it's reasonable under circumstances. I mean, even if the male officer slowed up a bit, okay, and he still would have said you're under arrest because he had definitely enough to arrest the guy. Okay. I agree with you. I think that even if that male officer had slowed up a bit, they still were going to fight because that guy was not willing to go with the program. Okay, let's say the male officer slowed up and tried to talk to him the way the females was talking to him. The females were getting the same response. I think that male would have gotten the same response from this suspect. I think that suspect would have continued to walk away, continued to not respond or say anything, to where they would have had to go hands-on anyway. Okay, they were going to have to go hands-on in that situation, no matter what. Hey, Jesus, love you. I see you on here, rub bubba butt.
Welcome, fellas. Welcome. We're talking about this shooting that took place up in New Rochelle, New York, on July 3rd. A young man walks into a grocery store, eats some grapes and bananas out the store, doesn't pay for those items, and has an encounter with law enforcement, and ultimately gets into a scuffle with them. Goes for the officer's gun, and in turn was shot and died a week later. So I think he just passed away earlier this week. So nonetheless, it's a tragic situation. But we're looking at both sides of the situation here. You know, is it that the officers acted reasonably or unreasonably? And now look at the citizen. Like, what could he have done on this part to try not to have escalated this situation? Well, first of all, don't walk away.
Well, yeah, but Corey, let's assume he had a mental health problem and couldn't comprehend the extensiveness or the seriousness of what he was doing at that moment.
We're assuming he does. Heck, we all got some type of mental health issues.
Yeah, right.
I mean, we're assuming he has mental health, because that seems to be the go-to analysis of all these situations. These people all have mental health issues. And my fire back from now on, okay, well, where's the family at? You know, this person has these types of issues. Why are you letting them run around the streets aimlessly without any type of supervision?
Yeah, that's true too. You know, that's a level that can be we can dive into. But at the same time, the situation unfolded the way it unfolded. I think, like we said, I think this guy would have fought anyway.
Anyway, yeah, 100%.
And no matter how he was approached, he wouldn't have stopped. They would have had to go hands-on and get this dude handcuffed. Unfortunately, he made the mistake of grabbing an officer's gun, trying to pull the gun away from the officer's possession, and the officer had to pull out and shoot him. You know what I'm saying? Yes, folks, if you we're telling you our advice. We're telling you our view as if we were the officers handling this call. I'm trying to put myself in that situation as the officer, okay? And trying to tell you guys what I would do, what I think I would do in that situation. If I'm struggling with you and you grab my gun, it's a 95% chance or greater that I'm going to beat you to it, pull my gun out and shoot you, okay? To stop you from advancing on me, stop you from trying to continue to grab on my gun, okay? There's a risk that even when I pull my gun out, it's an easier risk of you to grab that gun from my hand. But at least I have a quick advantage because I'm the one with the finger on the trigger at that point. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not going to let you take possession of that gun and you be the one with the finger on the trigger. You see what I'm saying? So I have no problem with them shooting the guy after he grabbed their gun. I don't have any problem with that. Okay. I understand that. I think that's something that I would do. Okay?
Even with the mental health issue?
Even with the mental health issue. If you crazy, a crazy person can kill me just the same as a sane person. A crazy person can shoot me just the same. Okay.
And at that point, though, are they still sane or are they crazy now? Because now they're trying to kill you.
And forgive us, viewers, we use the word crazy loosely. We don't mean any disrespect. We understand people would have mental health issues. Perhaps we shouldn't use the word crazy, Corey. But what I mean is, even if you have a mental health issue, that's not going to change. That's not going to change my response if you grab my gun.
Well, yeah, he like Jesus Love you said, he had enough smarts to go for the gun.
Yeah, true. That's true.
So I think in his mindset, Mike, he probably was thinking, I ain't going back to jail.
Could have been thinking that, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or he could have just been zoned out on his mental health problems and didn't respond the way he should have responded. Yeah. Again, though, Corey, it don't make a difference if you are mental health, mentally challenged or not. If you grab my gun, I'm still gonna shoot you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna let you grab my gun. I'm not gonna let you take my gun from me.
No,
That's the bottom line.
No, and that's the thing about being in scuffles on the side of the road. As I've told my stories on here several times, like that's the number one thing you thinking of. It's like, man, you fighting so hard that like your number one thought process is not to let this individual get my weapon. Whatever you do, I mean, even in the academy, you're trained like, hey, protect that weapon at all costs. Because we know as soon as you go for that, it's over. Deadly force is authorized because at this point, you're gonna have you're trying to get the weapon to do what? I just want to look at it. No, you're getting into want to do harm, and I'm not gonna let you do that. Like you said, whether you have mental health issues or not, right? I just think it's just a sad situation all the way around. Nobody wins. Nobody wins in these types of situations. But we can't just blame the officers for their actions, or you can't blame this young man. In a sense, I mean, if he has mental health issues, I mean, you can argue the fact, okay, or well, where is it? Does he not have a caretaker? If you know he has the issues, why is he roaming the streets aimlessly? I mean, you can. There's I don't want to say there's fault, but there's room for improvement on both sides. I would say.
Maybe the only improvement I could see though is maybe the male officer could have slowed up. And I only say that because I'm forcing myself to find some area that the police in this particular incident could have improved their response. Maybe the male officer could have slowed down a little bit. Yeah, we know you want to arrest this guy. We know this guy, that has to happen. But you don't know this guy's demeanor fully yet. You see the female officers trying to talk to this guy and he's walking away. Maybe him walking away prompted that male officer to step up his game and say, okay, we need to hurry up and get this guy physically restrained before he takes off running from us. You know what I'm saying?
I see it more towards that way, be honest with you. Because at what point he might have been trying to figure these females officers out. Can he take them or what the case might have been, which is probably why they didn't detain him fast enough, in my opinion. And then he comes up like you just said, and hey, we got to get this under control right now, otherwise this guy's going to take off and run on you, which we said earlier, you don't want that. Yeah, the call was for him eating and supposedly shoplifting too. So it's really not clear what was actually going on in the store, but I believe they had enough PC probable cause to at least detain him at the time. But then again, like you said, Mike, we don't know what other information this male officer obtained to come in, hot like he did, and now did he escalate it? You could argue that, right? His tack could have been a little bit more subtle, but is it wrong how he came in? No, if he had enough.
Really say wrong,
right?
I almost can't even say that he shouldn't have came in like that. I mean, I can't really say that because he saw this guy walking away from the female officers, and he knew that he had enough to stop and to stop this guy, okay, to handcuff this guy, okay, because he was walking away. And I think he felt that sense of urgency that, okay, I see this guy walking away from my female officers, so we need to step this game up. You're under arrest. He said that very clearly. Okay, you're under arrest. Hopefully that'll get you to stop. Okay, and he quickly came up and tried to go hands-on and handcuff this guy. Now, of course, once they went hands on, that's when the guy started bucking up, started resisting. You know what I'm saying?
And game on.
The taser, I mean, it's almost like they might have been a little too close to taser him, tell you the truth. They were pretty close to him. You got to be enough distance away with that taser for that taser to have a good spread. When those two darts come out of the taser, those darts have to have a good spread apart on them to be really effective. If you're real close, you can just take taser and do what they call drive stun, okay? Which you make direct contact with the taser gun itself onto the person and try to do it that way. I don't think they had enough time to do that. I heard him say taser, or they probably tried, but he had grabbed that officer's gun. That, like you said, Corey, that changes everything in a split second.
Yeah. What I also want our viewers to understand, there's no textbook way, I guess there is procedures, I should say, but you have the real and you have the ideal. You know, the ideal is, you want everything to be textbook, right? Hey, turn around, place your hands behind your back. Subject turns around, places their hand behind the back, right? If subject does this, you do that. It doesn't play out that way. And ideally you want it to play out that way, and your policies are written out like that. But the real is it doesn't work out that way. Right, because the criminals don't go to your academy classes to learn. Okay, if I interact with a law enforcement and he tells me to stop, then I have to stop. No, they don't respond like that. So there's really no. I don't want to say textbook way of doing it, but they're. I mean, it's not Hollywood scripted.
Right.
On how
it's too many variables. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But make a good comment, and I want to address this because it says, granted, the officer had the PC, probable cause, but could it have happened a different way? Could the officer have said something like, hey, I know you stole food. If you need it, I'll pay for it. You don't have to steal. Would that have changed it? You know what, who knows if that would have changed it? But I don't think that was necessarily a better way to handle it. I can tell you this: I ain't gonna pay for it. Okay, if I'm the officer responding to this call, I'm gonna be blunt. If you stole something, I ain't gonna pay for it. Okay, you up there stealing? Well, at the most, a petty theft is a site release at the scene anyway. A ticket release you at the scene at the most. Okay, unless there's some other variables going on, or something happens where you got to be arrested and booked into jail. But, another thing, Corey, is keep in mind, he didn't get shot because he stole. Mm-hmm. That's not why he lost his life. That's not why the officer shot him. The officer didn't shoot him because he stole some fruit. The officer shot him because he grabbed her gun. Right. Okay, let's not lose focus of that. When you see stuff like that on the media, Corey, they always make it sound like all over banana or something. Right. No, he didn't get shot because he stole. He got shot because he grabbed the officer's gun.
Yeah, I like to comment on what Bubba Buck said as well. Now, that's not wrong either. That's another tactic you could, but it also depends on that particular officer. That's why the acronym CALM is important, because you don't know what type of officer you're going to get in any type of instance, right? True. So, maybe he could have possibly got a different officer. And I'll be honest with you too. I mean, situation like that, Mike, you said no, you wouldn't pay for it. I probably would have paid for it. Right? Neither one is right or wrong. I probably wouldn't have been the one getting in trouble, honestly, because I probably would have broke some type of policy where we're not supposed to do stuff like that. Right? But out of the goodness of my heart, if I know you hurt or I see you struggling, life hits you hard, I'm gonna be that compassionate person and try to help you out. Do I want to drag you to jail? for eating 5 or 6 grapes, man, it ain't but a couple of dollars, man. Here, go ahead. As long as the manager or whoever the reporting party was okay with that. Now, if they wanted to pursue and press charges, whatever, then it is what it is.
No choice. It is what it is.
Right. You gotta follow through with it. But if they're cool with you paying for it, it's done deal. Dude, don't let me see you back in the store again, and ban them from the store. So there's several ways that probably could have been handled, but that's just showing you the different types of what word am I looking for? The different types of
ways that you could respond to that. You know what I'm saying?
The different types of officers.
But let me put it to you this way, Corey. That what you're doing, paying for, assuming that you get to that point where you can have a conversation with the suspect and say, what are you doing? If you choose to pay for it.
Well, that's if
you're allowed to get to that point in the investigation where you can have that kind of conversation.
Correct.
But in this situation,
well, you never got a chance to.
They never got a chance to do any of that. Right. They went hands on, and he started fighting. Well,
and he kind of took that scenario out of it by not staying put, by walking away. Well, that's telling you several things that you're not okay. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to comply with what you're saying. I'm gonna keep walking because you ain't gonna arrest me. So, at that point, you probably would never be able to reach that point. Now, had they had the opportunity to reach that point, it definitely would have changed the whole scope of the situation, Bubble Buck. But
he wouldn't have been resistant. We would have been able to talk to you and find out why you did what you did, what your circumstances are. We'd have been able to have a low-key conversation with, okay, they saying you stole something. This is what they would like done. I can write you a ticket, okay, or something like that on the scene and release you on the scene. Or while I got you there and I'm talking to you, we can send another officer to recontact the reporting party. Say, and oftentimes I've done this myself. Hey, look, this is just some grapes and bananas. He's remorseful about what he did. Or let me, if you choose to do so as an officer, let me pay for it. Would that make it any better if I pay for his bill real quick and we can just get him out of here? You know what I'm saying? You try to talk to the reporting party in a way that tries to convince them to lower their demand on pressing charges. Right. And with the what's the word I'm looking? With the fair trade of, hey, let me get him off your property so you don't have to deal with him again. He won't be coming back into your store today to steal. You know what I'm saying?
And then you just ban them from that. Hey, look, I'll pay for it. We'll ban him from the store, and if he comes back here again, we'll arrest him. And then you do that. Hit him with a no trespassing.
Sure.
And ban them from that store. I mean, but the tables turn when you don't comply.
Tables turn big time.
The tables turn, and you're forcing the hands of the officer to have to do something. Now, what if he did get the gun? Thank God he didn't get the gun. But what if he did get the gun? Now more lives could have been impacted on it. So like you said, Mike, this wasn't about stealing some grapes and eating some bananas, or stealing a pack of gum out the store. This is because this individual made the decision to grab the officer's service weapon. And anytime you're in a struggle with the officer and you try to you make any type of gesture that you're going for that weapon, it's not going to end well, because they're going to yell gun, 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 and they're just going to draw and they're going to shoot.
Well, let's explore some very liberal views to this. I like to play devil's advocate.
Go ahead.
Let's explore some liberal views to this. What if they just left this guy alone and let him walk away and then try to go back into the store and say, hey, we couldn't stop this guy and we don't want to get into a fight with him. So we don't really want to make a big deal out of it. Can you tell the store people that? No, because the store people are the victim. They called the police, and it is the police's responsibility and duty to stop this guy, investigate this crime, and take the necessary action. That's their job. But Corey, you know there are people out there to say, hey, this is just some bananas and some grapes. You can let the guy go. Just let him go on down the street.
But when you do that though, Mike, that now you have problems like you have in Chicago and San Francisco, where businesses are closing because you're not holding these individuals accountable. So you can't have that type of attitude. Whereas, all right, well, it's just some grapes and banana. I'm not going to arrest them. Or now they made laws in some of these cities where if it's anything under $999.99, it's just release on the summons, right? Well, I'm going shopping every day. You know what I mean? And I ain't paying for nothing, right? You're not going to jail, right? So when you do that, you set a bad precedence. And these criminals who don't obey your laws are going to run amok. And these, you can't keep using the saying that, oh, it's okay, these businesses have insurance. Well, if I'm a small business owner, a mom and pop store, and you keep running from me, I don't have the money to keep paying the deductible on insurance and pay for this stuff. And you keep stealing from me. When you stealing from me, you taking money out of my pocket, and I need that money to pay the insurance. So without that, I'm gonna have to shut my doors. And when you're doing that, and the criminals, they don't care about nobody else but themselves. And when they do that, they're not looking at the impact that it's having on the community. Now you get mad. I think it was I think it's in Chicago. I don't know if it's a Target or Walmart is pulling out of a Black community, right? Why? Because they're getting robbed too much. They're losing money. You don't get into a business to lose money. You don't get into a business just to give your stuff away. I started business to be profitable, to make money. That's why you're in business. So, as these individuals come in here and steal.
Yeah, it was Walmart. I see Jesus loves you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You can't allow that. So as an officer, you have to do something. You can't do like you say, go back in there and say, well, it's just this, that we're not going to go.
He wouldn't stop. So right. We ain't going to get into a fight or nothing.
No.
Hey, but you know what, Corey? It just wouldn't surprise me today if law enforcement has come to that. Like, okay, this ain't a big, look, there might be some time where we'll see we ain't going to even respond to a call like a petty theft unless it's $1,000 or more. If it's a petty theft under $1,000 or whatever, we ain't gonna even respond. Unfortunately, I can see where that's going.
And what you're doing, you're gonna put it into the citizens' hands. Where okay, well, screw it. You come in here, I'm just gonna shoot and kill you. And you don't want that. You're just gonna have bodies laying all over the cities. You don't want that. You have to enforce the laws. Yes, we probably need some type of reform in the justice system. I'm not saying that, but you can't have a broken system where everybody's just running amok and you're not holding anybody accountable. You won't have a society. You have a lawless society, and everybody be walking around here in fear. You never start a business because you will never be able to get the protection to freely open a business where people can come in and shop and feel safe inside the store. You got some of these shops now locking up their toothpaste, locking up their deodorants. Really, that's stuff you see in the third world countries I've been to, where you gotta get things through a window. That's not how we need to be living. So that's my 2 cents.
Like you say, this situation started off as a very minor, small, some people in the bigger scheme of things, a small incident or small crime, if you will. You know,
Yeah.
the guy was eating some fruit in the store and walked out without paying for it. How much he ate, I don't know. Maybe, you know, maybe he ate $100 worth of fruit. I don't know. But at any rate, it started off small. The only reason why this jumped out of control was, number one, he resisted arrest. Number two, it really went left when he grabbed the officer's gun. Yeah. That's why he was shot. He was not shot because he stole something. Not shot over banana and grapes. He was shot because he grabbed the officer's gun. Okay, that's why he was shot.
That's why he was shot, not because of the grapes. And I'm upset with the media because that's what the media makes it. Oh, you know, he was shoplifting, and that's why he was shot, because he was shoplifting and eating the food. No, that's not why he got shot. I'm yelling at the TV. That's not it. You know, you have to look, you have to step back, you have to look at the whole totality of the situation and say, okay, what happened?
Hey, Mr. Taylor, I see you on here.
Hey, Mom, we know it wasn't from the grapes. Okay, well, what happened? Let's watch the video and see. And I'm glad they came out with the body cam footage as quickly as they did.
Sure.
And that shedded a lot of light on, okay, well, obviously this ain't about the fruit. And this is why we always say, you know, before you jump to conclusions on these shootings, step back, just wait. Let's see the video. Let's see all the videos. Sometimes, or, you know, that angle wasn't good. I want to see another angle. Is there another body cam that they're going to release and show? Well, let's see the whole thing before we get out here and you know, start saying things that didn't happen, that aren't true. And when the truth does come out, you're not going to believe the story because you've already made your mind up of what happened. You already made your mind up that it was over the taillight, and it wasn't over the busted taillight, right? It was because he had a gun in the car and didn't want to get out the car or whatever the case may be. Hey, Delando, welcome.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and on the media and social media and stuff like that, you see a lot of people trying to protest now and try to say he got killed over some bananas and things like that. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to, and to be fair, Corey, I can kind of understand why you want to protest, because these are family people. They lost their son, they lost their father, or they lost their brother, they lost a friend of someone to what they to police. You know what I'm saying? The cop shot your son. Yeah, the cop shot your son because he grabbed the cop's gun. Okay. Right. So I understand why they might be upset. They lashing out, looking for somebody to blame. And the easiest people to blame is the cops, especially the cops shoot the black dude. You know
Again, that's why we had to look at both sides. We have to look at both sides, both the police and the citizens' actions. Right.
And look, they might settle with the city and get $1 million. Who knows? You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure there'll be some type of settlement out of this. I mean, you know, it's just sad that that's the atmosphere that we're living in now, where it's you know, automatically blame the police, which in some instances, yes, the police are wrong. We're not saying that every shooting is totally a good shoot. And you know, by watching our channel and our videos, you would know that we're gonna call it out. If it was bad, it was bad. We're gonna let you know. But at the same time, the citizen has to have responsibility too. Their actions cause the reaction from the officer, right? In this case here, like what was his action? He grabbed the gun. What was the police reaction? To shoot him, to stop the threat.
Yeah. Right. Again, not because he stole something.
Not because he stole something. He grabbed the gun. Right. And so I think, okay, if you're gonna blame the police officer, you also gotta look at that individual and look at what he did too, or she did.
And the fact that he has a mental health problem, let's assume that he does. The fact that he has a mental health problem, that wouldn't change me shooting you if you grab my gun. That ain't gonna change that. Right. If you try to fight me and try to wrestle my gun from me, that ain't going. You have a mental health problem. Right. It's not going to stop me from shooting you. It just means that you're not even giving me a chance to get to that point where we can have some type of dialogue to where I can try to
yeah.
convince you to not do what you're doing.
Right. Right. And we don't know his mindset, like you said, because what if he was thinking that this could be, suicide by cop?
Or what if because of his
by
mental
going
state,
for the gun,
because of his mental state, he wanted to shoot you. You know what I'm saying? You can look at that both ways. Because of his mental state, he was trying to grab your gun to shoot you. You ain't grabbing the officer's gun for nothing. So
no, you ain't grabbing the officer's gun for nothing. Let us know what y'all think, folks, in the comments down below. Do you think this was a justified shooting or not? If so, why? If not, why? And if you were the officers involved in this, what would you have done? Again, nobody wins in these types of situations. Families are forever ruined on both sides of the aisle, and we look at these things to see, how we as citizens can one, better ourselves, go to our city officials and voice our concerns and let them know, hey, let's try something different. You can have all the training in the world, but when it comes down to getting into it, your instincts are going to take over, and you're going to do your fight to survive. But I always say, Mike, it doesn't have to end like this, right? It's two-way street. You expect an officer to be a certain way. Well, you know what? When I encounter a citizen, I expected them to act a certain way as well. And that was, be respectful. Answer. If I ask you questions, answer them. Stay calm. Listen to what I'm saying and get this ticket, or, hey, you're under arrest. You're going to jail. But you stay calm. You're complying. You're answering my questions. You're listening, and you get to move on. Jesus Levy said when he went for the gun, he sealed his fate. Yeah. I believe it was justified to do what the cops tell you to do. 100%, Jesus Levy.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that the cops had to shoot this guy, but they didn't shoot him for no reason. That's for sure. Now, if something else comes out that we didn't see yet, maybe another angle of the video that looks a little different, if there's anything that comes out that might change my view on it, I'll be glad to come on here and tell you. You know what I'm saying?
And he wasn't shot because he was black. Now it's just if he were white going for the gun, he'd have got shot too.
Oh yeah, you got shot the same way. Again, we're telling you what we think we would have done if we were the officers in that particular situation. Yeah, and having been officers and done this job long enough, I think it's reasonable. What I'm telling you what would do. I'm thinking of everything that I would be thinking of as an officer, every motion or action that I would be doing, and why I would be doing it. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't telling you this based on race or any type of bias or anything. We are just taking a situation and putting ourselves in the shoes of those officers if we were the officers, and what we would do, what we reasonably believe we would do, okay, in that situation.
Yeah.
And in that situation, if you grab my gun and we tussling like that, you resisted, yeah, I'm going to try to get my gun out myself and shoot you. So that's what's going to happen.
And I think that's a key word right there. Like we always talk about, is this what a reasonable officer would do? So when you see these types of videos, that should be one first question you ask yourself. If you're looking at the from the angle of the law enforcement, hey, is that what a reasonable officer would have done? Yeah. And then look at the citizen side. Is that what a reasonable citizen would do who is not suffering from mental health issues? Is that what we do? Now, just because you walk away, you're not talking, that's not a trigger for the law enforcement to assume, okay, maybe this guy's got some mental health issue. He's not standing still listening and then try to talk to me. I had plenty of guys, hey man, stand still, let me talk to you, and just want to wander around and because they know they're probably going to go to jail, and they're trying to map out their escape route and try to not be still walking around and not answering your question, things like that. That's not a red flag that they had mental health issue. That's a red flag that they about to run on you. And so I think, again, in the beginning, like we stated earlier, I think that's why it's very important, first and foremost, when they came in contact with them, just go ahead and detain them. And maybe wouldn't have got this far. And when we have a loss of life. Again, you know, sad situation. It shouldn't have happened, but it did. But and my heart goes out to the family. My heart goes out to the officer that pulled the trigger. Nobody wins.
Yeah.
No, he was not a homeless person. In fact, he was up visiting family. He was up to pick his son up, I think, to take his son back to North Carolina later that evening.
Yeah, so he wasn't that crazy.
No, he wasn't that crazy. I mean,
again, no disrespect with the word crazy, but he wasn't that much of a mental health issue that he couldn't take care of his son.
Right. You can come up there and get him. So it's not like you was broke. You had to have money to get up there. What possession just to go into the store and just, you know, do that and not pay. You know, I don't know. But it's not one of those, he didn't do nothing. Yeah, well, yes, he did. Had he not gone into the store and ate that food out of there and tried to leave the store and not pay for it, he would never had the encounter with the police. All right, so our actions have consequences, and
had he not grabbed the officer's gun, he wouldn't have lost his life either.
Yeah, you know I don't think he would have. Wouldn't
have gotten shot.
No, man got tased, but I mean, the three of them, I would want to believe they would have got him in the custody without any injuries had he not gone for the weapon. Coulda, woulda, but he's no longer here, so we can't change the script of how it unfolded now. I mean, we're speculating, but at the end of the day, you know, that's why calm is important. Comply, answer questions, listen, and move on. So, but all right, folks, we're gonna wrap this one up tonight. We hope you got some good information out of it. Again, it's always important to stay calm, right? So please hit that like, share, and subscribe button for us. Please share the video out to one family member, one friend, to help us out with the algorithm here on YouTube to get our message out far and wide and have a more broader conversation. So thank you all for watching. We love you. Mike, final words.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Jesus love you, Mrs. Taylor, Stacy. I see you on here. Delando, Bubba Buck. I see all you guys on here. Appreciate you joining us. I don't see Tone on here this show. So
I didn't see Tone on here.
Surprising, I didn't see Tone on here. So maybe he'll catch the next one, or you can catch it if it's recorded. They are recorded, so you can always look at them later. But thanks for joining us, guys. Peace out.
Yep, thank you for joining us. We'll see y'all next week. And again, if you got something you would like for us to talk about, please hit us up on Facebook and send us a DM and we'll get it on the show. So that being said, God bless you all. We love you and good night. Peace.